Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, please subscribe, leave a comment, and a like. I really appreciate it. What follows is a summary of the first operation on the lathe. Now, this footage was filmed over a few months. The first lathe part here on a GoPro with not the best lighting conditions, but did my best to show you what the first op would look like. Essentially, I'm facing this workpiece. I'm going to drill it, tap a 3mm hole. I'm going to use this side that is complete with the 3mm hole to then mount the workpiece onto a piece of aluminum. By drilling a hole in a piece of aluminum, mounting it in the vise, and then doing the operation 2 on this workpiece, which will involve the contour and facing it, then doing an offset 4 tap drill size for 3mm, and then tapping another 3mm hole. And that's so that we can mount this. Weight should be around 50 grams, either in 2 locations on the chassis, slightly offset, biased forward, or more back. Anyway, what follows is the machining operations on Op 2. Then we're on the bench talking about where it mounts, and yeah, maybe a little bit of footage of some jumping and testing. So enjoy, and again, please subscribe if you like the content. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you very much.
So I've prepped this piece of brass for the mill. What I did on the lathe was face to one side, drill a hole, tap it, and then I took this scrap piece of aluminum and I drilled a hole in it, and I've mounted the piece of brass to the aluminum, really thin piece of aluminum on top of some parallels, and now the brass is securely mounted to the vise, and now we're ready to prep for machining. So the next thing I've done, you're probably wondering, why is this piece of paper here? So I've used this piece of paper to zero the Z height. A piece of paper is usually 3 to 5 thou thick. So we've touched the tool off to the top of the brass, and now we know it's about 3 to 5 thou away from the brass. So after zeroing the Z, I've used a piece of broken shank and ground down. I've put it in the spindle, and I've touched off on each quadrant of the circle. You can lower the shank and touch off at each point, and then just do some math and shift it over. So if it's a 6mm diameter, and you touch off, you just shift it over 3 mils, zero it, and then do the same over here, touch it off, lift it up, zero it, shift it over 3 mils, zero it, and then divide in half, and you'll get the center of the circle. If you do that in both Y and X axis, you should be very close to the center. It's never really gone wrong for me. There's plenty of videos online explaining how to do that, but essentially if you use a circle and a known diameter, you can shift it and find center pretty easily. You can also do that on a bore with a edge finder. So yeah, so we've got center. So we'll make sure we're actually touching the top of the surface, and then we'll run the program. My mist coolant system is down. I do have one that triggers with M code. Throw some coolant, machining coolant as we go, just to keep the end mill from screaming at me. It is ready to rock, so let's run the program, see how she goes. mill is significantly quieter with the door shut. I mean, that's brass running at 13,000 RPM, so, you know, fairly quiet. Just turned up the spindle. It's a little faster now. So last couple passes on the circular 2-path, and go. We plunge past the workpiece to make sure we get it all. Go down into the fixture piece. I'm facing down the top again at 20,000 RPMs to give it a better surface finish, and it's turning out nice. Nice and slow. So now we are set up to do the offset boring operation. I'm just going to bore a hole so that I can tap it 3 millimeters. Here we go. I was going to record the operation happening. It happened so fast. I had it set to just plunge straight in, and I had the feed rate set pretty high for a 2.5 mil and mil, and it doesn't have to interpolate too much. It should be good. I'll clean it out, and then I should be able to tap it. Anyway, not bad. So I finished this brass weight for my Tekno EB410.2. My wife's going to be racing this season. She raced two-wheel drive last year and did quite well in novice. So because we're going to be doing sportsman and they kind of mix everybody, I figured the Tekno EB410.2 would be the best choice. This buggy's old. It's been through another guy at our track, a local shredder. He's, you know, the guy that kind of keeps racing going in this area. Troy, what's up? Anyway, yeah, he hooked me up with this. I wanted to get back into racing and set me up with a whole bunch of stuff for a really good deal. Anyway, so yeah, I raced this last year, had a blast. This thing is amazing. It, honestly, if you want to race four-wheel drive buggy, it's probably best value for money. It does not cost that much for a race buggy. But yeah, just painted a fresh body for her. Second time airbrushing. Usually I just do cans, but you know. So yeah, did some teal, some 80s paint splatter. Messed up on the slime in a couple areas, but you know, I'll work at it. Anyway, color pattern's pretty dope, I think. So yeah, the brass weight. One offset hole, 3 millimeter, and a center hole, 3 millimeter. This is the hole that we did on the lathe during the first op, during the facing. Faced that, drilled that, tapped that. Yeah, and then use that to fixture to this. Just a piece of aluminum, and drilled a hole in it, put an M3, Loctite on there, secured it here, mounted it in the vise, and that's what you saw later was the machining of this side here. So did the outer contour and then faced it, and then did the offset tap drill size, and then off camera I tapped it. So we have an M3 hole offset and one on center, and I know this is very simple looking, and you're probably like, well, it doesn't look that great. You know, it's just like first video of a simple, you know, object. Very easy to do with just a lathe, and if you have a CNC machine. So yeah, this is a nice little project if you want to make a brass weight for your buggy. Our track is very dry. It's up in the mountains. You will see it, obviously. It can get quite dry and dusty. So we run sprinters, you know, rehab, stuff like that. And yeah, it's fast, rocky, and bumpy, and you know, they just redid it, so you will see the new footage of the new track. I'm so stoked to go see it. This can mount right in these holes. The EB410.2 has just a few spare holes for this brace here. You can now mount it on center, or you can run it offset right against. The reason the offset hole's there is so I can run it right against the C block here, and it clears the drive shaft and everything and just kind of sits in there. It's 50 grams, so I will laser that in another video. I'll just put 50 grams on it, and I'm curious to see how brass does with a laser Atom Stack 820 20 watt. So it just sits here, and with an M3 hole, countersunk on the other side of the chassis. This chassis is so beat down. I have a spare one. You know, we're just gonna start off the season. I redid all the diff fluids, threw a Reefs 299 in here, running an old Tekin Gen 2. I don't know, man, these things are smooth. 6.5 turn it down on the EPA setting. You know, she ran like a 13 turn last year, and towards the end of the season she was practicing with this, and I was like, man, doing some really smooth laps, but then we took the winter off, so should have raced carpet but did not. And yeah, so I don't know, well, we'll practice a lot though. Gonna throw this in here, 50 grams. I had like, I don't know, about 20 grams in it last year. You need it in the back end on this, on our track. But yeah, so 4-wheel drive buggy 1/10 is a super fun class. I highly recommend it if you've been running 2-wheel drive. Oh man, just try to get one and piece it together however you can. Yeah, so that 50 grams should really help. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in there and, you know, take this thing for a run. Got some new bearings in it. Yeah, and sprinters, you know, these are like half used. We'll practice with these and see how she do. I also ordered those S-Works hard plastic wings. Just tired of breaking wings. If you look them up, S-Works has got a 1/10 scale wing that's a little bit heavier, but it's like ABS, thinner gauge, and yeah, we run them. Some people run them. They may cost a little bit more, but the initial burn is worth it, and savings in the long run. Yeah, so that's the 410.2 Tekno RC. Strongly recommend one if you are looking to get a stable platform. Ooh, that weight, I feel it. It's gonna be nice. All right, so see you at the track.